So it's been a little bit since I did an Apocryphal or a Grimoires video for y'all, and I decided that tonight I'm going to do one. So today we're going to talk about the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Yes, the Egyptian Book of the Dead that is referenced in the Mummy series, if you're wondering. It is actually a real thing, as you can see from Britannica, right? So the Book of the Dead is an ancient Egyptian collection of mortuary texts. But it's more than just. It includes several magical formulas and spells that have been placed in tombs and were believed to protect and aid the deceased people in their journey to the hereafter. Most people believe it was compiled and re-edited sometime during the 16th century BCE, and the collection included coffin texts dating from 2000 BCE. It had pyramid texts dating from 2400 BC and several other writings. Some of the compilations include hymns to Ra, the sun god, and there were numerous authors and compilers who sourced and curated content to contribute to this work. Scribes compiled and copied the texts on rolls of papyrus, often colorfully illustrated, and sold them to individuals for burial use. So many copies of the book were found in Egyptian tombs, but there were none that were found to contain all of the approximately 200 known chapters that it was supposed to contain. So they were like little, condensed little, kind of like what you might consider a modern small prayer book kind of thing. The collection is literally titled The Chapters of the Coming Forth by Day. It received its present name from Carl Richard Lepsius, the German Egyptologist who published the first collection of the texts in the year 1842. And here's some from Getty Museum. What is the Egyptian Book of the Dead? And you can see some of a little bit of the Getty collection here on this here for the Book of the Dead papyrus for the Son of Tabor. This is really cool, actually. Like, let's start over here, kind of get in close so you guys can get a look at these pictures, these hieroglyphics. So the Book of the Dead is a modern term to describe a series of ancient Egyptian ritual spells, instructions, and incantations for the afterlife. They were meant to help the deceased find their way through the afterlife to become reunited with the sun god Ra and the netherworld god Osiris in the continual cycle of renewal and rebirth. There are nearly 200 known spells, but they weren't collected into books in the current sense of the word. Rather, they were assemblages of spells that were inscribed on objects, from mummy wrappings to coffins to sarcophagus and papyrus rolls. And they were all meant to accompany the dead in their tomb. They gave instructions for the different types of challenges that the deceased were supposed to face on their journey. And for example, spell number 125 lists a number of misdeeds that they must deny having committed in life when they appear before Osiris. Here we have a vignette that details an episode from the Book of the Dead, which is spell 125. The Book of the Dead papyrus of Pesher Hakat. That's going to be hard for me to say. Pardon my apology on mispronouncing that, but it says Son of Tabor. Okay, so it says, the vignette detail shows an episode from the Book of the Dead, spell 125, in which the deceased appears before Osiris and a tribunal of gods to have his heart weighed against the feather of Ma'at, symbolizing justice and truth. If his heart equals the weight of the feather, he is allowed to pass into the next world. Getty's Book of the Dead manuscripts include 7 papyri and 12 fragments of linen mummy wrappings that are now undergoing new scholarship spearheaded by someone named Foy Scalf, who is an Egyptologist and is the head of research archives at the Institute for the Study of Ancient Culture at the University of Chicago. Getty's ongoing provenance and research discussed, it's further in this article, Scalf is studying the text and preparing translations and analysis in order to place them within the broader context of the long history of the Book of the Dead. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Book of the Dead spells were meant to be spoken aloud. That's why a lot of them contained incantations. During a funeral, priests would read from the scrolls, and much of the text is written as direct speech that the deceased is envisioned reciting into the netherworld. The Getty's collection spans a wide time frame and provides an exciting opportunity to examine how the Book of the Dead evolved for more than 1,000 years and how it was used by the Egyptians. The earliest text that they know is an 18th dynasty papyrus that was made sometime around 1450 BCE during the height of Egypt's new kingdom. The papyrus, which belonged to a woman named Webenesre, includes spell 149, in which the deceased encounters 14 mounds in the afterlife, each of which has its own inhabitants. The mounds are illustrated at the far right of the scroll. And of course, here is a part of the Webenesre papyrus, and you can see those mounds. Let's check out this one here. We got us another one here. These are just so fascinating. And this is a mummy wrapping, a mummy bandage. And you can just see like the writing and the hieroglyphics. Here's some of the detail. This is another papyrus. So apparently, spell 78 in the Egyptian Book of the Dead is the formula for taking the form of a divine falcon. And I found this little image here that is kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek if you know anything about Jerry Garcia or the Grateful Dead or the Merry Pranksters in particular. I'm from Oregon, so that's standard. My uncle also used to date Sunshine Kesey, so yeah. In the land of the dark, the ship of the sun is driven by the Grateful Dead. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, spell 78. Formula for taking the form of a divine falcon. See a hymn to Atum there. Book for making the transfigured spirit excellent, knowing the names of the gods of south and north, the gods whom are in the caverns, the gods leading the underworld, performed by a man for his father or his mother, on the feast days of the west, making excellence in the heart of Ra, in the heart of gods with whom he is. And so that, my friends, is our newest episode of Grimoires or Apocryphal Texts, and this particular one is very interesting. The Egyptian Book of the Dead is obviously very real. The greater collection of it has over 200 spells, like I said, and it's a pretty unique and interesting thing to study. I really thought that quote that I just shared with you guys, in the land of the dark, the ship of the sun is driven by the Grateful Dead, was pretty cute. And I will be happy to talk to you guys again shortly. I think the next thing I'm going to cover for one of our apocryphal stories is going to come probably from the Book of Jubilees, because I feel that that's very relevant with what the Vatican is doing next week. So I will probably be looking into that. I'm also kind of interested in talking more about the Book of the Giants too. And then the Thelemites and some stuff about some people you guys might not be that familiar with, but then again, maybe. In my handy dandy little notebook here, we still need to talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Ethiopian Bible, some more of the Apocrypha and the Book of Enoch, and then the Thelemites, Levian Satanism, Luciferianism, Gnosticism, and I've also got the Key of Solomon, the Lesser Key of Solomon, which I did a little bit of talk about that before. And then I want to talk about Sarah Tamar, Mary Magdalene, Shokma, who Yahushua HaMashiach is, and what the name of Yahuwah means. I'll also probably be discussing more after that.